Welcome Algebra 1Bs. Here is the Keystone review, the first part. So the general idea, again, I explained to you in class, or should have been explained to you. You can follow these different reviews, complete all the starred questions, check with your teacher, and then take the key quiz online to submit, okay? As you do this, you can kind of move ahead, but again, the better you do on these first, and you don't need to repeat them and anything like that. So I know a lot of these skills you probably recall already from the past. That way we can just kind of jump in, you can do what you're comfortable with and go from there, okay? Which answer choice shows the four expressions in order from least to greatest, okay? For simple questions like this, you are allowed to use your calculator, okay? So go ahead, use your calculator, find what each is approximately, and if you take the square root of 3, you get 1.73. 9/5 is approximately 1.8. 1.71 is already in the decimal, and 17%. To change percent to decimal, you can either move the decimal. I like to think, here it is, you move it to the left, boop, boop, 2 spots, so it's really 0.17, okay, 170 to be exact. Once they're all in the same form and looking good, you just arrange each from least to greatest, okay? They'll probably have answers on there the other way around, but you're better than that. So least to greatest, well, percentage-wise, 1.17 is the least. Next in the rank will be 1.71, next 1.73, and then 1.8, and then it's your job to just go backwards and kind of figure out, well, which is each of these as what it was originally represented as, okay? And then just pick your answer. Shouldn't be all that difficult, I hope, okay? 9/5. So 17%, 1.71, 3/5. Boom. B, gotcha. Done. Which expression is equal to 1/8? Again, calculator. Boom, 1/8, okay? Type it in again, your calculator. It's approximately 0.125. Okay, and see which ones match up with it. Now, you might be savvy and already know in your head some of these options. 0.123. And if you do have calculator questions throughout these, like how do I find the square root, be sure to ask that of your teacher to show you if you're not sure. 0.5, 1.25%, again, whoops. What's the little trick with percent? You can just move it, boop, boop, 2 spots, so 0.0125, and 2 to the negative 3, okay, 0.125. So that is specifically the one we want. Typically, there is going to be something tricky like C there, okay? So it's close, but not quite. Alrighty. Now, some calculator questions involve parentheses and all that. Again, I'm going to write it huge because use your calculator. Yes, this here is like, what? Okay. It's going to be scary, and you don't want to not waste, but you don't want to spend a lot of your time on something that your calculator can do very quickly, okay? You can do it by hand, again, knowing that you do parentheses first, then exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. You can certainly do it by hand, all right? But if you do put it in your calculator, it can be a lot quicker. But if you were to wash by hand, because a lot of students do like to do it, you would look at the parentheses first, okay? Within there, okay, exponents, so 4 squared is 16, square root of 64 is 8, minus 16, absolute value of -4, absolute value always makes things positive. That is still in parentheses. Divide by 10 minus 26. Okay, students want to probably do this step, but we are not just yet. We have to do the order of operations. So 8 minus 16 over 4 is -2. 26 divided by 10 minus. Next up is division. Okay, so I'm going to divide, and you have, technically it's a negative 26 plus negative. Okay, so negative 26 divided by negative 2, 13 plus 10, you get 23. Okay, again, if you type that all in your calculator, you should get the same thing. Moving on, so just use your calculator, I would, okay? Simplify the expression, again, calc. All right, make sure you put parentheses in there. Make sure you put the negatives. If you do that one here, you can even do it with me. 2 root 25 to the negative third, okay? 0.1. Again, though, if you want to use your mind, which is certainly encouraged to do, you can also do that. 0.1, if you hit math and enter, fraction, you get 1/10. Okay, students think that calculators are cheating, but really it's using your resources, okay, which is really okay. Again, another simplify the expression calculator. So I would like you to type this into your calculator and try it, and then also try these ones down below. And again, it's going to seem simple, but that's the whole idea, okay? You should be getting these correct. All right, so 3 stars for you to try there. If you want to pause and complete those, that would be awesome. Okay, once you complete those, then you'll just come on back and move on to the next piece. The next piece is dealing with keeping it real, okay? These are questions that students look at and it is just scary off the bat, okay? 10n less than or equal to 4n, oh my goodness, but it's really gonna be okay. For all integers, n, first you need to know what an integer is, okay? Integers, if anyone recalls, are negative and positive numbers, okay? No decimals. But for integers, typically you want to try some negatives, so we'll try -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, now there are more, but we'll just try these ones. And basically, these do take some time, okay? You want to try each of these numbers and put them into the different problems given to you. So, it wants to know 10n less than 4n. So I know it says all the integers, but this gives us a nice range. Okay, so you're going to substitute n, you're going to let it be -2. So we're going to try the first one. Okay, 10 times -2 is -20. Is that less than or equal to 4 times -2, which is -8? Okay, that's true. Okay. Now, let's try a positive, okay? Let's try out 2. Okay, so trying out 2, you have 2 times 10, which is 20. Is that less than 8? No, okay? So A is gone. So which of the statements true? Not A. Now, let's think of this one here. Again, we'll try -2 first. Now be careful. -2 squared plus 3 less than or equal to -2 to the third. You really need the parentheses. Okay. So this would be 4 plus 3, which is 7, less than or equal to 8. That is true. Okay. Sorry, -8. That is not true, Dvorsky. Okay. So -2 cubed is 7 less than -8. No, B is out of the picture. Okay. So trying out the last two, That is basically your task. I want you to determine which of these two then would be your answer. Okay, so again, it needs to work for all of the values, and you just plug them in and try it out that way. Okay, this question is rather vague, but again, follow along and you will get it done. Okay, so another one here for 7, which expression must be true for all integers. Another star to try out, but if again you want to try -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2, those are good options. Specifically, -2, +2, 0. Okay, try those stars out, and again, let me know. The next piece is simplifying these radicals, which we talked about. These you're going to need to know your perfect squares again. So we have x and x squared. If we have 1, that is 1. 2 is 4. 3 is 9. 4 is 16, and so on. 5, 25 if you need them. Okay? Again, what perfect squares are factors of 150? So you're going to try and divide 150 by the different perfect squares. Well, if you see something like 50 or that, most likely it's going to be divisible by 25. 25 times 6. You have a 6 out front, and here's how they'll get you. Okay, 25 just becomes 5 roots of 6, and most students will switch these two things up. But you are better than that. 6 times 5 then is 30 roots of 6. B, done. Okay, here's these here then, and these are similar to what you might have seen on a previous test. When square root of 48 is rewritten in its simplest form, it can be written as square root of x plus y. Okay, so square root of 48, it wants to know which value is greater, x or y. Okay, somehow it's going to break up, so you have a number on the outside and you have a number on the inside. Okay, so again, 48 divided by perfect squares, I know goes 16 and 3. 16 becomes 4 roots of 3, and the question basically wants to know which value is greater, x or y. Well, the number outside is greater than the number inside. So x is greater, and it also asks for you to explain, okay? So basically, you are going to be getting points for 1, stating what the answer is, and 2, explain. So x is greater because when you simplify, and always tell what operation you do. So when you simplify the square root of 48 by taking, or by square roots, 16 becomes 4, and left inside is 3. Okay, something like that. Again, you wouldn't have to be verbatim, but again, try and discuss what operation you use, okay? So what operation, square rooting, and simplifying, basically, okay? Joey incorrectly answered, okay? Discussing this, so 2 times 12, neither of those are perfect factors, okay? So you need to have perfect square factors. Okay, Joey incorrectly answered. He did not pick the largest, okay? 12 can be simplified further, okay? So that is basically, it doesn't say to explain any further, so 12 can be simplified further, maybe by square roots. Okay, again, you want to have an operation. And that would be all I would probably say. Okay, from there, so these are problems as well, 30x will become 6 roots of 30. It wants to know, what would x be? Well, in order for it to come out as a 6, you need to think of what would make it go back inside. So if this was square root of 30 times what would make it become a 6? Well, you can always try your answers, okay? If I plug a 2 in there, is the square root of 2 6? No, okay? If I put a 6 in there, is the square root of 6 6? No. 12, if I try 12, is the square root of 12 6? No. Okay, 36 on the other hand is the perfect square. And so if you think of this as square root of 30 times square root of 36, that comes out 6 square root of 30. Okay, so D would be your answer for that one. Alrighty, here are some good practice problems for these types. And that will be all for the first piece. So again, if you didn't already, I'd like you to do all the stars. Complete those. And show me your answers when you're completed. Afterwards, you can take the first little mini quiz on those concepts. Thanks.